know, if we could change our foreign policy, it actually would give us a breathing space, because we could save a lot of money. We could spend that money back here at home. We could save enough money that we could actually cut on the deficit, restore more confidence to the dollar. But actually, with those dollars that we could save from overseas, we actually could take care of the people here, even if we have a program that we might not fully endorse. But there have been a generation or two now dependent on government, you know, whether it's Social Security recipients and Medicare and all these programs, but you can't do this. If we continue this way, it's going to go bust. Last year, Social Security recipients got a 2% raise, a benefit. The cost of living went up 8 or 10%, depending on the individual. So they're losing, they're behind. And if we continue this way, sure, the checks are going to flow out, but what good will they be if the dollar doesn't buy anything? This is why this is crucial, that we change our policy, bring these troops home, save this money, restore the confidence. Under those conditions, then we can actually start thinking about restoring our personal liberties here, which have been under an attack that we need to stop. We're sworn into an office in government, Congress, or the presidency, or when we're sworn into the military, we swear to uphold the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And I think that is something we have to be thinking about, because even though we're in trouble financially, that to me is our great threat, but we're not in trouble militarily. Even though today our military is in bad shape because we've sent our troops hither and yon, the equipment's in bad shape, and we have to retrench and regroup and rebuild the equipment. But even under today's circumstances, nobody can touch us. We're a military powerhouse. But at the same time, we have our conditions here at home that are being undermined. We have been seeing our privacy eroded. Since 9/11, it has been undermined. There are warrantless searches. They can come into our homes now and not even tell us they searched. They can come in and search our home, and if you know about it, if you tell somebody about it, you become a criminal. There's the elimination of the habeas corpus now. People in this country can be declared an enemy combatant, and you won't even have your day in court. So personal liberties have been severely undermined, and they're advancing. And I am struggling right now to fight, and if I were to be the president, I would absolutely prohibit it from occurring, and that is the national identification, national ID card. Act has been passed. It hasn't been institutionalized yet, but they're moving in that direction. But there is radio frequency ID in that card. And tragically, the Congress gave the Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security the authority to put anything he wants on that identifier without even coming back to Congress. So if he eventually wants to know whether you belong to a pro-gun group or what religious group you belong to, theoretically, he can put that on without even going to a court or even to a Congress. We don't need that kind of intrusion in our personal liberties. We need to, the purpose of government should be to protect our privacy, not to protect the secrecy of government. Just in the last 48 hours, it's been revealed that our CIA destroyed a lot of records. The records revealed that they had tapes made of the use of torture, which was illegal internationally and illegal under our law. But the tapes were destroyed. So therefore, the secrecy of government is always protected, yet our privacy is continually being undermined. So this, to me, is the most important issue that we have. The purpose of government ought to always be to protect liberty. If we are a free country, if we are able to work at will and keep the fruits of our labor, I don't think we have to worry about our prosperity ever. We should be concerned today because we have become so dependent. We have a currency that doesn't work. We're overextended. We're so much in debt that those conditions are ripe for a disaster. We as American people right now have to pay $1.4 billion every single day just to pay interest on the national debt. Just think how much work we have to, well, if we didn't have a national debt, what could the American people do with $1.4 billion? Maybe it would help us in health care or education or who knows what. But it would be very helpful. But this is just money that shouldn't be spent. We as a people are taxed endlessly. We have been taxed to fight these wars overseas. In these battles, we go into nation building, and doing that, we have to bomb a lot of people, whether it's in Bosnia or now in the Middle East. We destroy their bridges and their infrastructure, then we feel guilty and we say, well, you know, we broke it, we have to fix it, so we have to tax the American people again to go over there and rebuild their infrastructure. At the same time, our infrastructure is falling down and our bridges are falling down. I say, take care of the bridges here at home. Conditions are ripe for change right now. I think the American people are waking up. They realize that we have problems and that we have to do something. The young people know it. They know that the chances of them getting substantive money back from Social Security, they know that's not going to happen. We ought to give them a chance to get out and take care of themselves, get out of Social Security, take care of their own medical care. And this would be available to us. We would just get back to having confidence in ourselves again, confidence in freedom, and not always saying, well, the government's going to take care of me. You know, a good example of how well the government takes care of us is probably example after the hurricane 2 years ago and Katrina. Just think of how well they took care of that. I mean, how can we have confidence in a government that spends billions, not a few, tens of billions of dollars on programs like that, buying trailers that are never used, passing out money, and lo and behold, they had lines. People lined up for checks of $2,000 a piece. And can you imagine? People came from outside of New Orleans to get in line. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. We don't need central economic planning. We need more confidence in ourselves. We need a government to do certain things. We need a justice system. We need to have a system of sound money. We need to have government stay out of our lives and stay out of the marketplace and protect contracts and enforce laws against fraud and violence. That's what the general welfare is all about. But when you get government doing all these other things, all it does is undermine the productivity of the country, and that is where we are today. So restoring these issues, these ideas, is not an easy task, but it's also not that difficult when you think about it. We've gotten ourselves into this mess mainly because we have not lived up to our Constitution. We can restore this by living up to the Constitution and following the Constitution. Yeah.